Relative disparity. This refers to how our left eye and how our right eye see two slightly different images. In the picture, this is portrayed because it shows the left eye and the right eye and how it views the trees but in slightly different ways, so that with one eye the house is blocked. For convergence, for us to perceive depth correctly, our eyes must move slightly inward so as to see if objects are closer or further away. So in the picture, it shows a girl looking at a pencil that's very close to her, and it shows that her eyes must go slightly inward in order to correctly perceive that pencil. Interposition. This is when closer objects block objects that are further away. So in this picture, you see a nice barn house and it's blocked by a tree because the tree is closer to the person, so you lose some of the barn house because it's blocked by the tree. Relative size. This is when we see that the smaller the object, the further away it actually is. So in the picture, there's many desks within a classroom, and so the further away the desk, the smaller it is. That's why the desk up front is the biggest and the one in the back of the classroom looks to be the smallest. Relative clarity. This is when the object is more hazy. We know that it's further away. So in the lovely picture, we have a nice little scenery, and the further and further we go out in the distance, the more and more hazy it becomes to our eye. Texture gradient. This is when an object has a coarse look to its texture, it is closer, and when the lines are fine, it is more distant. So we have a nice picture of a tree and how closer up we see the coarse lines from the bark, and further away we see that the lines are more fine and it's less defined. For linear perspective, this is when we see parallel lines converging with the distance. So in the picture, we have a nice little dock, and as the dock goes further back and further away from the person, the lines start to converge with each other. Relative height. This is when we see higher objects, we see them as more distant. Which is why in the picture, we're looking up and we see a kitty, and the kitty's small compared to the shelf it's sitting on, and we know that because the kitty's small, it's up and it's higher and it's much further away. Light and shadow. This has to do with how we correlate objects to be three-dimensional when there is a shadow portion of the object and light on the object as well. So in the picture, there's a lot of trees and a nice little scenery, and there's shadow and light coming from the sun, and you can see where the trees are and how they correlate with each other.